Hello, this is Jeff Rainey. This is my first ever video podcast, screencast, whatever you want to call it, for Today in Web Design. I was doing this post on icon fonts and how to use them and ultimately how to make them, and realized that video would be a much better means of communicating how this all works rather than just the simple text. So that's where this started, and hopefully there'll be some more of these coming. Anyway, forgive me if I'm not great at this yet. It may take me some time, so let's jump into it. So icon fonts are without a doubt one of the best ways to include vector images into your website. They're small, they are easy, you can easily change the color and size, and they look fantastic on Retina displays. There's lots of options out there already that you can use to download and include in your website. Here's an old post that I did here that has several that well, more than several, but a bunch that I've already found that I liked. And so to get started with these, you can just pick the one that you want and go to the site, and most of them are free to download, or you can donate if you really like one. Once you've got it downloaded, it's as easy as jumping in, unzipping it, once you get inside these, you'll find a README file or something to tell you exactly how this particular set is used. This one here, this README file doesn't tell me much, so let's try. Maybe it's in here. Yeah, here we go. So once we get in here, we can find out how to use this particular set. Each one will be a little bit different. Here you can see that first you're going to set up the CSS to pull in the font set. Everything you need to pull this font in and set it up, and then they tell you you got the CSS on how to set your fonts up, and then how to pull your icons in once you get set up. And they've got a key in there that'll tell you exactly what all of these little symbols mean here. So that's pretty cool, except what if I want two? What if I have two different sets that I want to use? Or what if I only want 4 or 5 of the fonts out of 300 or so, however many these guys have on there. So let's see, how many did they have? They had over 300. So if I only need 3 fonts or 3 icon fonts out of this whole pack, it'd be kind of a waste to download all 300 of them. Also, if you wanted to set up multiples, then you may have multiple ways that you have to work with these fonts, because that's the way they were set up out of the box. So, with all that said, I like to have a method or formula for how I like to work, and I also like the idea of only pulling in the fonts that I need. So, I like to use a site called TiWD. Not only do they have great icon fonts, but they also have this little app here that will allow you to build your own icon fonts. So once you have set up a profile, which I'm already logged in, you can use this app, and I believe you can even use it without the profile, but it's more useful if you have one. And by the way, they also have a sweet icon pack here, which I strongly recommend picking up. So once I'm in here, I can create my own custom font set. So here, if I only want this one, and this one, maybe these 4, I can hit the font button, and it's just going to build me a font pack for these 4 fonts. And then I can hit download. And pop this guy open. And so now I've got a demo HTML file here that shows exactly how how these are called. So here's what the actual view looks like if I were to open it in a web page. Or if I want to open it up and see what the source looks like, I can pop this guy open and see how they're setting the fonts up. So that's pretty cool. But you can take it one step further. I don't know if you noticed that when I was over here at TiWD that I had an untitled set up here. Well, that's because I created this set myself. So I created this font icon here. And yeah, it's just a simple little vector image I created. And so there's a couple different ways you can create these. You could buy some fancy font designer tool, which that might be pretty cool. But you can also use a tool that you may already have, which I've got Illustrator here, and I like Illustrator. So if I can use it, that's great. Okay, so let's create a new document here. Grab my pen tool and make sure it's filling to a black here. And I'm just going to create a little mountain icon. Let's drag this guy back just a touch. There we go. Okay. Crude little mountain, but perfect. Alright, so once we're done with that, I'm going to hit Save As. I'm going to set this to be an SVG file. And this file is what we can use to import into iCoMoon. So I'm going to title this Mountain. And I'm going to save it to my desktop. Okay. Let's jump back to iCoMoon and let's import the icon. So I'm going to go to my desktop. Pop this guy open and boom. Now we have a new mountain icon that I can include for the download. So now if I select the mountain icon, I have a little mountain icon, I have a test icon, home, film, dice, and download. And so now I have a new zip file that I can use. So now I can open this guy up and see the files they gave us. In here we will find a style sheet that's already been set up to import our font. And you'll see the styles here created just specifically for our icons. And if you want to see how to use those, you can just pop open the demo here and you can see exactly how those are being used in the demo. So you'll notice that from the style sheet over here, we have this icon mountain before, and so if we find that class for icon mountain, which is here, we're basically getting that icon stuck in right there. Hopefully that helps demystify the icon font just a little bit. For me, it was always a little weird to have to work by all these different ways that people decide to use their icon fonts or pull them in using a data source or CSS or whatever means they were doing. It just feels nice to have your own workflow, one that you can always use and lean on, and it always stay the same. So this for me works. Maybe it doesn't work for you, maybe it does. If it does, great. Maybe you have a different way you do things, and if you have something that's easier, then by all means please share it. I'm always looking for ways to improve my own workflow. Thank you so much for listening in, and I really hope to get you another podcast, videocast, or whatever this is very soon.